Hi everyone, it's Lindy on here from Pink Whisper Designs. Today I thought we'd make some little goodie bags. I thought these would be fun for like little party favors or just maybe to hold a gift card or some candies. So I thought we'd get started by taking a look at this set here. This is from Fawn and this is the Hey There Stamp and Die set. And today we're going to be using that little horse, the chicken, the little baby chicks, the barn, and that little fence. And then we're also, from this set here, which is called Butterfly Kisses, we're going to be using the butterfly, the little grass, and the little trio of flowers there. And again, the coordinating dies. We're stamping on the Bristol Strathmore 100-pound smooth cardstock, and I've gone ahead and put my stamps in my Misty stamp platform. And we're using the Onyx black ink from VersaFine. This is a permanent black ink, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp these. Now we will need 2 of the baby chicks and 3 of the butterflies, so I'm going to clean off those stamps and stamp a couple of more of those. Now I'm going to go ahead, I cut these down to size so they'll fit in my little Sizzix Sidekick machine, and I'm going to put some purple tape on there just to hold those in place for me while I run them through the machine. And I went ahead and die cut all of those pieces, and you can see that we have everything ready here. So I'm going to start off by coloring this barn, and we're using wine red and dark gray and the blender pen. Now these are the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens, and they have a beautiful detail tip on them. And with the blender pen, you just want to make sure it's clean before you get started, so just have a scrap piece of paper handy so you can just clean it off in between colors. And I'm just blending this red color down towards the center of the barn and up from the bottom. And this blender pen, I know I've mentioned in previous videos, but it's relatively new for me because you can also use a water brush instead of the blender. But I do find that since this blender is designed for these pens, it works really well. And it doesn't get too wet, whereas a water brush sometimes can get a little bit wet. But either way works fine. I just find this to be a little bit easier. And I am using the Bristol Smooth paper. I find this to be the best paper to color with when you're using these particular pens. It's nice and smooth, and it's really easy to blend the colors. So here you can see I'm just adding a little bit of the black again, just to kind of make a little shadow. I wanted to give the barn a little bit of an aged look, so that's why I'm adding the black. And then for the roof, I'm going to grab that light gray, just put that all over, and then add the black to either side. And I'm just trying to keep the top of the barn the lightest, so I'm just pulling that color up from each side. And then I'm going to do that same thing here for the little barn door. And I just love this little set. I've had it for a little while now and I have not used it. So I was kind of excited to get this out and start playing around with these little critters. And now for that little bit of hay, I'm going to grab a couple shades of brown here. I'm going to grab the oatmeal and the mid brown and start with the lightest color and then add that darker color and just kind of pull those two together. And again, just clean off your blender pen between colors. And that completes the barn. So now for this little horse, we're going to use oatmeal, mid brown, and brown. And that brown color has a little bit of a reddish tone to it. So for the body of the horse, we're going to be using the oatmeal and the mid brown. And then for blending these, I like to use kind of a circular motion when I'm doing the little critters, just to give a little bit more of effect of the fur. So I'm using kind of a circular motion and just pulling those two colors together. And I'm going to do that same exact thing here for the face and the ears. And now here's where that brown color comes in. It's a really pretty brown. And I'm going to add a little bit of the darker brown to that and blend these two together. But you'll see here in a minute that I did decide that I thought this was just a little too light. So I came back in with that darker brown and added a little bit more, and I'm going to blend that again. And that's the nice thing here again with this paper. You can keep blending this. If you feel like the paper's getting too wet, just let it dry or just use your heat gun to heat set it a little bit and then come back at it and add a little bit more color until you get the coloring that you like. And just a bit of the darker color there on the hoof, and you can see that that's the cutest little horse. Now with the light gray, I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow to this fence, not much at all, and I'm not even sure that you can see this on camera. And then I'm just kind of blending it out. I just wanted to add a little shadow there, and I know that's hard to see. And then with the May green and the light green, I'm going to do this little blade of grass here. And I'm just adding the lighter color. And then with the darker one, I'm not even going to blend it out. I'm just going to add some like little darker blades of grass in there. And then with the chicken, for the top of her head here, I'm going to use the wine red. And on the feet, I'm going to use the bright yellow. And for the beak, the orange. And then for the body, I'm going to use that light gray again. And again, this is going to be tough to see. But it just adds a little bit of a shadow. And I am going to blend that out. You could always add a little more gray here if you want to go a little darker. And I'll try to show you that as well. But again, it is difficult to see that. Now for the little baby chicks, I'm going to use bright yellow and yellow. And again, starting with the lightest color and then the darker color and blending them kind of towards the center here to keep the centers the lightest. And then with the orange, I'm going to do the little beak. And you can see how cute these little chicks are. And now with the yellow and the orange, I'm going to do the butterflies. So I just put down a little bit of yellow and then some orange towards the center there. And then I'm just going to use the yellow again to blend those two together because I wanted to get it a little bit darker. So that's another nice thing is you can use the markers themselves to do the blending. You don't have to use the blender pen. And now with the wine red, I'm going to add a little bit of that wine red right around the center there and then just pull it out towards the edges. Just trying to keep the edges the lightest. And then the yellow is going to go in the center. And I did that for all three of those as well. So everything's colored in. Now I'm going to take that little chick. I decided I wanted a little bird for the top of the barn. And this is from the Critters on the Farm set. So I'm going to take this little bird and I'm going to use the dull blue and yellow. And a little bit of the orange for the beak. So I'm going to start with that. And then with the dull blue, I'm going to just kind of go up along the top there and a little yellow at the bottom and gently bring these two together because I don't want to make a green color. So I want to just pull the blue down and then pull the yellow up and try not to blend the two together. And you can see there, you get a nice cute little bird there. So now with the Lawn Fawn Kraft cardstock in the 100-pound weight, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet I cut at 6 by 11. And that is to fit this little goodie bag die onto. And this will fit the two panels on the 6 by 11 sheet. If I put it one way and then turn it and place it the other way, I can die cut two of these out of that one strip. And I just wanted to show you that there. So you have very little waste there if you do it that way. Now with the Lawn Fawn 1/4 inch double-sided tape and my bone folder, I'm going to go ahead and use those score lines right on the paper here, and I'm going to press and fold each of these little creases. And you can see you have the two little tabs here on the ends. And then you have a little gusseted fold here, and I'm just going to gently press that in just to kind of get that started. Now I'm going to place the tape on those two tabs. And this is a heavy duty double stick tape, and you do want to use something heavy duty here so that the bag will, stay together nicely, especially if you're putting, anything that has a little bit of weight in the bag. You want to make sure you use a good tape here. And I did the exact same thing here, just kind of folding that in gently. And then I'm going to, again, apply the tape to those two tabs. Now there is that one additional fold there that we're going to make. And then I'm just using the bone folder to press down the tape a little bit better. Now we need tape in this little rectangle at the very bottom of the bag so that we can attach these two panels together. So I'm putting plenty of double stick tape here. And then I'm going to remove the backing on that tape. And we're going to match up those two rectangles. And that'll form the bottom of this little goodie bag. And you do want to press that out really well, so I'm using the bone folder here just to make sure that's down nice and secure. And then I had already removed the tape from that one little tab, and I'm going to do that all the way around. And just lining these up and making sure that I press them down with the bone folder. And I'm going to do that for all four sides here. And I love this little bag. This you could use for so many little things. It's just fun just the way it is. Even if you didn't do much more to it, you could add a pretty ribbon and keep it really simple if you had to make a lot of these. So this is from the Watercolor paper pad, and it's a 12 by 12 pack. And I'm taking that blue, and you can see that I die cut another panel of the goodie bag, and I just cut that top section off. That's all we need. We're going to do all of our artwork here on this little section. So from the Spiffy Speckles Petite paper pack, I'm going to grab that green with the dark green dots on it. And I'm going to cut this at 4.5. And then I'm going to cut 3 little sections out of this. So the first one will be at 2.5. And this is going to be the largest section of grass. These other two are going to go behind that one, so it really doesn't matter how wide we cut them. I cut them each at 1.5 inches each. And you'll see here in a minute what I mean. So we have all 3 of those little pieces cut here. And now I'm going to grab this border die. This is from the Stitched Hillside Borders. And I kind of just wanted this one that sort of goes just on a gentle slope there. And I'm lining it up sort of towards the right-hand side of my cardstock, and I'm running that through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. And you can see you get this beautiful stitch border. Now for the second and third ones, I'm going to match up that hillside border. I want them to line up, and I'm going to do the same thing, sort of line it up towards the right-hand side of the paper and then run that through. And I did the same thing for those two panels. So you can see there that those will get hidden behind that first panel there. Now I'm taking the Mowed Lawn Distress Oxide ink and my foam applicator. These are from Tim Holtz. And I'm going to go ahead and go along the top of that grassy border there. And for this front panel, I'm darkening that top edge, and then I'm also going to come along the sides and along that bottom a little bit. And I'm doing the bottom because some of our little critter is going to be down there, and I want to make sure that it looks like he's kind of standing on something. So I'm darkening that up a little bit here. And for these other two panels, I'm just going to do the top because the sides and the bottoms won't show at all. So again, I'm just darkening up that edge a little bit. Now I'm taking the Lawn Fawn glue tube and I'm going to glue these three panels together. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along that top edge there and attach these together. And I want to leave, I don't know, maybe about a third of an inch between the layers here. So I'm just going to position those together here. And I'm going for kind of a stripy kind of a look here. This is all part of, I wanted to do a card for the Lawn Fawn card challenge, which is the card sketch challenge. And if you look at the challenge, the lines on the card kind of go on an angle. And so I'm trying to kind of recreate that here with this grassy border, kind of my artistic impression of that striped edge. So if you want to see what that card sketch looks like, you can go to my blog and I'll have a picture of it there. So now I just drew lines around that just to kind of I had cut these a little bit longer so I could lay them on that blue panel and kind of see what I wanted the angle to look like, and then I'm just cutting away the excess here. And now that's going to fit nicely back onto that blue panel and kind of give me that striped look that I was going for. So now I want to glue these together, so I'm just going to glue this panel right to that blue cardstock. And I just thought it was easier to do all of this off the bag. It's just easier to work with everything while it's flat here. And then once we're done with all the putting everything on here, then we'll attach it to the front of our bag. So now with the fancy Scalloped circle stackables, I'm going to go ahead and take that second smallest one here, and I'm going to go ahead and take the small stitched circle stackable, the same coordinating one, and I'm going to die cut that out of the blue and then part of it out of the green because I just need a little bit of the green for the grass, and then a third one out of the white cardstock as well. So you can see there we have all three pieces of that cut. So I'm going back to the green ink that we used before, and I didn't even re-ink the applicator. I just rubbed a little bit of that green along the top edge of that little grassy border there. And now I'm going to glue these three pieces together. And this is just going to give a little substance here. So I'm gluing the blue on to the white and then the green onto the blue. And again, the green is just going to be a little grassy area. And now that I have those attached, I'm going to go ahead and attach those to the scallop circle here. And that's going to fit right in the center there. And I'm just using my pick tool here to pick out a couple of those little leftover pieces there. So now this is going to be placed on the card. And again, I'm kind of following along the sketch design from the Lawn Fawn challenge. And so I need a little circle here off to the left, and this is where I'm going to place this, and I'm popping it up a little bit with some foam mounting tape just to give it a little more dimension. You can see that there. And then I'm going to place the barn right on that circle, and I'm going to pop that up as well. And that's going to give you the effect that the barn is kind of in the background there. Now, as part of the challenge also, you needed a little rectangle kind of off to the right-hand side of the barn. So again, kind of interpreting that, I'm going to put the fence here, and that's going to give me that effect. And I'm popping that up as well. And now I'm going to add all my other little pieces, and this is the fun part, adding all these little pieces, and I have this cute little horse here. And again, I'm popping him up with a little foam tape. And then I have that little blade of grass as well. And I'm just going to glue this down flat. And this is the fun part here, just building the little scenes. I love doing this. And so I'm adding my 3 little flowers here. And then for the chicken, I thought I'd have her kind of near the fence there. So in order for it to lay flat, I'm going to put a little foam tape on the bottom section and just glue at the top. And then it'll lay nice and flat on the card there. And then for the baby chicks, I'm just going to glue a couple of those down here. And that little bird, I wanted to have him sitting up there on the top of the barn. So I'm going to glue that in place. And then again, as part of the challenge, you needed the circle, the stripes, and then the circle, and then the rectangle, and then 3 little elements above that rectangle, which in the challenge they used hearts, but here I decided to use 3 little butterflies. So now I'm going to take the Nouveau Crystal Glaze. This is just a clear glaze. I'm going to add a little bit of that to each of my butterflies here, just to give them a little glossy finish. You could add glitter as well. You could add your Spectrum Noir sparkle pen or your Wink of Stella sparkle pen, but I thought the glaze would be cute here. And I added it to their little beaks. And then I'm using the Nouveau Crystal Drops in the Dandelion Yellow to do the centers of each of those flowers. That'll just give them a little bit of dimension. And now that that panel is done, I'm taking my double stick tape and I'm going to add plenty of it across the back of this panel. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the front of my bag. And it's going to be very easy to line up because those little zigzags at the top of the bag line up with the zigzags on the panel. And so it made it really simple to line these two together. And then just make sure you press it into place really well. Now I'm going to take some of this green cording. This is the lime cording from Lawn Fawn. And it's a nice heavy duty cord. And I'm going to just pinch that top of that bag together and tie a little bow here. And again, you would fill it with your little goodies or your gift card or whatever you're going to put in there. And some tissue paper also looks cute in these. And then I'm just tying a little bow and I'm going to snip away the excess there. And now you can see that we have a completed little gift bag. And we have lots of dimension and we have some glossy finish on the butterflies there. And I just think this makes a cute little, fun little bag for somebody. And I also wanted to show you that I made a second one. I wanted to make a little collection of these. So I made one with using the little cow. And then I also stamped and die cut the little lamb. And you could do the other little critters as well if you wanted to do a whole set of these little gift bags. And there's an example of the little cow. I just think that's cute as well. And on this one I put a little glossy finish on the top of the barn and on the barn doors. I wasn't sure which one I liked better, so I did them 2 different ways. And then here you can see that I had die cut the little lamb as well. So that also could go on here. So again, I'm going to complete some additional bags, but I thought I'd show you these 2 versions. So don't forget to check out that Lawn Fawn sketch blog challenge at pinkwhisperdesigns.com. And if you liked today's video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for visiting today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.